The invisible toxic gas causing lung cancer in Canadians.
What was I breathing in for so long, for all those years?
Dangerous levels of radon hiding in some 10 million homes.
Canadians are amongst the most radon-exposed persons on this planet.
We break down how to protect yourself and the calls for governments to step up. But first, millions of Canadians are living in homes with a silent killer. Radon is on the rise, and there's no early test for the damage it may be doing.
It was your basement that gave you this cancer, you know. It's the house that's going to kill you.
Lauren Pelly takes a deep dive into Canadian cellars where this natural occurring gas comes from. She looks at who's at risk and what can be done about this.
It's toxic.
What was I breathing in for so long, for all those years?
You can't see or smell it.
It's completely invisible to human senses.
And millions of Canadians have no idea it's hiding in their own homes.
We're talking about radon, a radioactive gas that's the top cause of lung cancer among non-smokers.
Research shows an estimated 10 million people across the country are living in houses with high amounts of radon, and the number of homes with dangerous levels has more than doubled since 2012. Scientists are trying to tackle this hidden threat to prevent deadly cases of lung cancer.
The goal is to save lives, but as we found out, that's an uphill battle.
To understand the potential human impact of radon exposure, we went to Calgary to meet Steve Blake.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Good.
Until 2 years ago, Steve was at the top of his game. The avid golfer felt healthy and fit until a nagging cough led to a devastating diagnosis.
The emergency doc came in and said, "Hey, I got some bad news for you guys. You've got lung cancer," just like that. And Steve and I looked at each other and went, "Pardon? Like, there's no way."
Steve and his wife Kelly later learned his cancer is stage 4, treatable but not curable.
I still turn around and go, why me? You know, I did all the things I'm supposed to do.
The father of 2 never smoked. When he learned of the links between lung cancer and radon, he wondered how much was hiding in his own home.
There is a strong desire to know, is this a cause?
Radon gas is naturally released in the soil when rock breaks down. It dissipates safely in the air, but can build up inside closed spaces, like your home. When you inhale radon, it decays into dangerous radioactive particles.
You installed a monitor down here.
Yes. Yeah, I was recommended to put it in the basement.
Steve spent decades working in his basement. The monitor he put in last year revealed the grim truth. It's a danger zone with high radon levels.
Definitely started saying that, hey, there's something wrong here.
When you saw this device turning red over and over, what was going through your mind?
I just wish there was more information available at the time that we built the house.
Many Canadians remain in the dark. Health officials say 4 in 10 households are unaware of radon, even though radon-induced lung cancer is estimated to kill more than 3,000 Canadians every year. That's more than car accidents, carbon monoxide poisoning, and house fires combined. Nearby in Calgary, we visited a groundbreaking research lab where biochemist and molecular biologist Aaron Godarzi leads a national study on radon.
Canadians are amongst the most radon-exposed persons on this planet.
The team's research shows radon levels vary across the country, and no region is totally safe. 1 out of every 6 properties in Ontario and Quebec has concerning levels. The risk level increases to 1 in 5 properties in the Prairies and Northwest Territories, and 1 in 3 properties in the Atlantic provinces, along with Yukon and the BC interior, while the risk of radon is the lowest on the Pacific coast. The researchers didn't have access to any testing data from Nunavut.
we can absolutely see the effect of it once it hits our lungs. It absolutely bulldozes the DNA of the cells it encounters.
Godarzi showed us the dramatic damage to cells before and after they're exposed to radon.
What we're seeing here, these breaks in the DNA, what does that actually mean for someone if this was happening in your body?
What those mean are genetic mutations, and that is the cause of all cancers.
In Canada and much of the world, lung cancer is the deadliest type you can get. Godarzi's team says most people can't access screening programs and get diagnosed far too late.
If you've never smoked in your life, but you've had high radon exposure, you are currently not eligible.
Researcher Dustin Pearson says we need to expand lung cancer screening to Canadians exposed to high levels of radon. But the key is finding a way to prove it by studying something most of us throw away: toenail clippings.
It might sound a little weird at first, but there's a good reason for it.
Pearson explained when you inhale radon, it turns into a type of radioactive lead, which is shed in slow-growing bodily tissues, like your skin, hair, and nails. Toenails have the least exposure to chemicals and cleaners.
Now there's something in them that we can actually measure.
The team is aiming to collect 10,000 toenail samples from across the country. They're processed in a special metal-free lab to prevent contamination, then analyzed inside this massive machine. The ultimate goal of all that work?
Save lives, save healthcare dollars, and to reduce the overall burden of lung cancer in Canada.
So what about all the houses across the country that could be slowly exposing people to toxic radon? The only way to know what's happening in your own home is to have it tested by a professional or by installing a monitor.
So if someone has high radon levels, how much does mitigation work actually cost? Well, first, if you need to test, radon monitors are sometimes given out by regions for free. But if you're paying out of pocket, they can cost around $200. And the actual mitigation systems can be anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, and sometimes much more.
We tried to figure out how Canadians pay for all this and whether there's any government support. Ontario uses its home warranty program, while Manitoba lets you spread out costs over your hydro bill.
But really, it's very patchwork. Most provinces don't have any grants or funding for radon mitigation, and there's no one federal program covering the whole country.
We know that cost is a significant barrier to people actually taking action on radon.
Sarah Butson is head of the Canadian Lung Association. She says charities like hers try to fill the gap.
If you know that you can't afford actually mitigating on the other side of that, why test?
Last year, Butson says the organization doled out around $150,000 to help roughly 100 households afford mitigation work.
The reality is that programs like ours are at capacity, and so we need more support to actually be able to fill that gap even further.
The last leg of our journey took us to Ottawa. We brought a long list of questions for the experts at Health Canada.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Inside this lab, scientists like Pavel Makarski are working to protect more Canadians from the dangers of radon.
So we have the wide range of detectors that you can see here. You can see that they come in all shapes and sizes.
The team tests out home radon detectors for accuracy inside this sealed chamber. Another device shows what happens when radon breaks down into alpha radiation. It contains a cloud of alcohol vapor, and when the radiation passes through, droplets form along those paths.
It's really hard to picture what radon looks like, but this gives us a sense of what happens when that radiation hits your lung tissue. It looks like a battleground.
The team's research informed a major update to the Canadian Building Code, just released in December 2025. It now requires newly built homes to have a passive radon stack, acting like a chimney to funnel the gas outside.
It's going to take a while because it needs to be adopted by provinces and territories, but long term, we are going to be building homes in Canada that have less radon in it.
For Canadians who want to update existing homes, Health Canada's manager of radon outreach, Kelly Bush, says that's up to the provinces as well.
We definitely want to see more provinces coming on board and having funding programs that are available to Canadians so that they can mitigate more easily.
Without more awareness and support, many Canadians could keep living in homes with high radon levels without ever knowing it, just like Steve Blake. He's hopeful experimental treatments will extend his life, and he's now installing a radon mitigation system in his home, even though there's no way to prove what caused his stage 4 lung cancer.
There's no test that they can, blood work, whatever they could pull from me and conclusively say it was your basement that gave you this cancer, it's the house that's going to kill you.
Lauren, a lot of really good reporting there on something many people might not know much about, but I can practically hear people at home saying, okay, but now what? What do I do right now?
Well, the first thing you can do is just test your home. This is actually the best time of year to do it in these winter months when we're closing up our home, potentially trapping more radon gas. And Health Canada says you should test for at least 3 months. If you do have high levels, you can install a mitigation system. It doesn't actually take that long. And for many Canadians who want to reduce their risk of cancer, the cost is probably worth it.
Okay, good tips. Lauren Pelly, thank you.
Thank you.